Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi, welcome to my channel. I've been gone for a little bit, I know. I got pretty sick the past couple of days and I went to the doctor to get antibiotics, and what do you know? I had an allergic reaction. I have some of the rash left. I'm not going to show you my legs, but I'll insert some pictures right here. But today's video is going to be a collab with Rachel Grace. She's my friend here on YouTube. I love her so much. She's so sweet. Definitely go check out her video. It'll be linked down below. Just give her some love. So yeah, today's video is going to be more of a serious topic. It's going to be the topic of divorce, how I deal with things, a little bit of advice. So yeah, I'm not trying to say that just because my situation is like this doesn't mean that your situation is going to be like this, but feel free to reach out to me if you ever need advice or someone to talk to, because I know how a lot of it feels. So my parents were together for almost 30 years before they decided to split. So yeah, I was 15 when they told me that they were splitting up. I have two younger sisters that are involved as well. I have a 14-year-old sister and a 6-year-old sister. So for me, I associated my parents together more than I did not together, if that makes sense. Some kids, you know, they grow up only knowing their parents not together, but I grew up knowing my parents together. So it was very, very hard for me when my parents did first split up and separate. It took me a while to get used to it. I don't know, it took a toll on me emotionally. I cried literally every single day, cried myself to sleep. In the middle of the day, I would just break down because you know, my dad wasn't here in our family home anymore. My mom did keep our family home when my parents split up. My dad moved out and got his own house, and my mom kept the home where we made memories in, and just, you know, all of those types of things. So that was really hard as well, because when my dad did first move out, it was weird because he wasn't there and it felt like he should be here, but he wasn't. And when my dad first got his house, I actually couldn't go over there for a while. Like, I couldn't get myself to go over there for a while because it just didn't feel right, because then my mom wasn't there. And then I would come home to my mom's house and it wouldn't feel right because my dad wasn't here, if that makes sense. And my childhood memories were really good for the most part. They fought a lot towards the end, but for the most part of me being little, I only remember the good things. I remember, like, during the fall, we'd make these giant leaf piles and my dad would, like, throw us into these leaf piles. I remember, like, going to, like, amusement parks and the fair as a family, and, like, going on vacation to, like, Mexico and Florida, and going camping all as a family. Like, I have all of these great, amazing memories as a kid, and I am very thankful for that. And I am thankful that I did get to experience my parents together. I know a lot of people wish that their parents would have got divorced when they were little so they didn't have to, you know, really feel those feelings of hurt. But for me, I am actually glad that not that I get to feel those feelings of hurt, but I get to remember those memories. It is hard. It was very hard at first. I can talk about it now without crying because it's 2 years later now, and I've learned a lot in those 2 years and how to deal with it. So yeah, as far as how often I see my parents goes, I see my parents whenever I want to. When my parents first separated, I was 15, and then a year went by before they legally got divorced, if that makes sense. So I was 16 then when they legally got divorced, which meant I had my driver's license and a car, like transportation, you know, to get around however I wanted to. And so the court decided, or they decided, I'm not exactly sure, that I didn't have to be in that custody agreement, or however it's worded, the agreement of when you see your kids, like how my sisters are. So I can basically go to my dad's house whenever I want, or go to my mom's house whenever I want. My sisters, on the other hand, they see my dad once a week and every other weekend, and then obviously the time that they're not with my dad, they're with my mom. But I chose to just stay living at my mom's house simply because I have my own bathroom and just like my own space, and like my dad's house is way smaller. It's nothing against my dad's house, But yeah, so that's kind of how that went. It was really hard for my sisters, I know, at first to not see my dad that much. I think it still is. I think it takes a toll on them, and I think, you know, divorce affects kids a lot. It affects the person that they turn out to be. Unfortunately, parents don't want to come to terms with that, but you create a broken home. It's harsh wording, but when you create a broken home, it really does affect the kids. Sometimes badly, sometimes goodly, depending on the environment. And depending on how much they get to see the parents. So yeah, it is hard, but it does have to do with my dad's job as well, because he does leave at 2 in the morning, and my sisters obviously can't be left alone with no way of getting to school if they were to miss the bus or something like that. So yeah, my parents' divorce wasn't like super messy, but my parents did go through bad phases of getting along together getting along like as friends when they weren't together, and then not getting along. They'd go through phases like where they'd be best friends and they'd come over and like chill on each other's couches, and we'd, you know, like be fine at family events or, you know, social events where we had to be seen together. And then that was really hard, and I'm sorry that if your parents do that. I'm sorry if you have to go through those phases where your parents are fine and then the next where they're not, like when they're divorced, if that makes sense. So like when you're divorced, you should obviously co-parent, but my parents didn't do that. They'd go through phases where they'd get along and then where they wouldn't. So I'm really sorry if you have to go through that, because I know how much that sucks and how confusing that is. My parents are at the point now where they don't talk at all, really, and it sucks and it's hard. And I'm being blunt about it now because I've cried about it so much that I can't cry about it anymore. My parents know how much their divorce affected me and how much I cried, and I know that they do feel bad about it in certain ways, and other ways they don't, because it wasn't good for them to be together. But the thing I want to talk about is when your parents, so when they first got divorced, it was really hard on me, but it was hard on me because I didn't like the fact that they weren't together anymore. I didn't like the fact that I only knew my parents together, and then all of a sudden I didn't know them not together, if that made sense. It was a new thing, and it was scary, and it was sad, and it was weird to go do things with just my mom and my sisters and not have my dad there, and then go and do things with my dad and then not have my mom there. Like, it was so weird, and trust me, I know how hard it is and how sad it is and how just bad. It really is just bad. I remember my first birthday when my parents separated. That was my 16th birthday, and I cried my entire birthday, like literally my entire birthday. And that was supposed to be like a special birthday because you're turning 16. And I remember all I wanted to do was just go out to eat as a family, and my parents wouldn't even do that, and it was so sad. And I remember crying my entire birthday, and it was bad. It was hard, especially when it came to holidays. It was hard having to split holidays, like especially like Christmas, like the most important ones. That was hard. And it still is hard, I'm not gonna lie. 2 years later, even now having my own daughter and a significant other, it is still hard to do that, and it's still hard to have to like still do those things without the other person there, if that makes sense, and feel like you're splitting yourself like 10 different ways, because really I am when it comes to holidays, because I have to go to my mom's, my dad's, my boyfriend's parents, and any other family event that there could possibly be. So yeah, that is hard, and it makes things literally sometimes impossible to get yourself to so many places when you can't. But that's like a whole nother thing. But another thing that's really hard is when your parents like decide to bring other people into the picture. So when my parents first separated, my mom was the one that moved on first, and that was really hard to see, because it's like, wow, that's not my dad, the person that you love. That's not my dad, and it should be. That's how I saw it. And then that person didn't end up working out, and my mom has a new person that she's with today, now, like today in time. My dad stayed single all those 2 years of them being divorced, and just recently moved on, and it's so hard to like want to go to your dad's house, but then someone be there, and then there's new kids that aren't your siblings, and just the hurt and the feeling of just like, what is this? I didn't ask to have a new family. Trust me, I know how hard that is, and I know how sad it is, and I'm so sorry if you have to go through that, because it's not right. Yes, your parents deserve to be happy, but no, it's not right to bring all these different people in and like make you feel like you have to have a new family, because you know, all you're probably thinking is, wow, this isn't my family. So that's definitely the hardest part now that I'm dealing with 2 years later. Months ago, I came to terms with the divorce. I was fine. I wasn't emotional about it anymore, but now I am emotional about it again, because there's now 2 new significant others in the picture that I don't agree with. And I'm sorry if you go through that. I don't really have advice that I can give you for that, but and I don't think it really gets that much easier over time, because all I want to do is go over to my dad's house, but there's always another person there, and it's nothing against that person. It's just hard, and when you want to go do family things together and there's more kids there that aren't your siblings, it just doesn't feel right. And I am sorry if you have to go through that, and I don't know, try to sit down with your parents, talk about it. I know that your parents don't really listen probably, or maybe, I'm sorry, maybe your parents don't care. I don't know. My parents do at least care and listen. So yes, I'm really sorry if you have to go through that. And I know this video is probably a little bit all over the place, maybe not super into detail, but it's a touchy subject. Broken homes are terrible, something that I come from and I don't agree with fully, but it's something that I just, you know, nobody signs up for divorce, but it's something that unfortunately a lot of people have to go through. So yeah, don't forget to check out Rachel's channel. I hope you guys enjoyed. Check out all my social media down below, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you ever need somebody to talk to about something like this, I'm always here. Feel free to reach out, because I know how hard it is. Like, don't hesitate to reach out. Again, my social medias are down below if you ever need somebody to talk to. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out Rachel's channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.